Hi everybody, Dacob here. Welcome back to the Fragrant Bunker. We are in transfer at the moment in a special location. I am in Melbourne for the premiere of my movie with Vivienne Westwood, Art Lovers Unite. So I am in a special new space. So enjoy it while it lasts. I'm enjoying it a lot, and I will be reviewing something from Chanel, darling. We are going to be talking about the newly discontinued Cristalle Eau Verte, and I managed to hunt down a bottle and we're going to review it together. So first, subscribe to my channel, and you can also join me on Patreon, superdacob spelled together. Thank you to all my patrons who have already pledged. This video is being filmed live in front of a live virtual audience. I live stream every Saturday on my main YouTube channel, superdacob. You're all welcome to join there, the chats and the conversation. Speaking of chats and conversation, let's cue in my wonderful co-chatters, my co-conspirators. Welcome, you guys. Hello, everybody. Welcome down under. I am hosting you in my Vivienne Westwood abode in Melbourne. Oh, it's so fabulous. And I managed to hunt down a bottle of Cristalle Eau Verte, and I've already taken it out. Here it is. It's kind of hard to make it focus just on the bottle. There you go. We'll go. So yes, it's discontinued. They have last batches sold worldwide. The batch code for this one is 6801. As I speak with you right now, I can tell you that the newest batch, which I'm speaking to you in July of 2022, late July 2022, as of now, the latest released Chanel perfume is Gabrielle Parfum, the pure extract, the extrait of Gabrielle. And that one bears the batch code 7501. So this being 6801 is about a year old, so you could say this could be the last batch ever produced. They did stop producing them about a year ago. So if you want your Cristalle Eau Verte, get it now, because pretty soon it's really going to be history. And as we know, Chanel does not treat its discontinued perfumes well. Meaning, it's almost, I have the feeling, and by the way, everything I say in this video is just for entertainment purposes only, just my opinion, allegedly, everything. But Chanel has this tendency, allegedly, of, and we've seen this happen in the past with fragrances that have been developed in the 20s, in the 30s by Chanel, in the 40s, and then in the 50s, 60s, you know, the ones that have been discontinued, they never talk about them. It's like, almost as if they were ashamed for the fact that these perfumes failed. But did these perfumes really fail? Could we say that Cristalle Eau Verte is a failure? I think perhaps for Chanel's standards of how much they want to earn, how much a perfume has to, turn a revenue, the turnover, in terms of how much percentage of growth of turnover they want to have per year for any said perfume, maybe for those standards, which I'm sure they set very high, for those standards, perhaps this perfume is a failure. But that doesn't mean that in terms of smell and quality and what it represents to us consumers, it doesn't mean that in terms of that, this perfume is a failure. So when they discontinue a fragrance, I do believe that for them it's kind of shameful. They feel like, oh, we failed. We failed to make this perfume, to keep this perfume afloat. Now it's being discontinued because it doesn't make us enough money. So let's just bury it. Let's just forget that it ever existed because it's embarrassing to talk about a failure. Let's just move on with stuff that's successful. So this is what I fear will happen with Cristalle Eau Verte once it gets discontinued. That they will just never talk about it again, that it's going to be like one of those myths, 20 years from now, who's going to remember Cristalle Eau Verte? Probably nobody. So me being a perfume lover and also loving, above all, Chanel fragrances, I have purchased Cristalle Eau Verte the day it came out, back in 2008, I believe it was. And I reviewed, when I started my YouTube channel many moons ago, I reviewed that particular bottle. Now, since then, I've never purchased Cristalle Eau Verte because other perfumes came and left again, you know. So Cristalle Eau Verte is not the most memorable Chanel perfume. I agree with a lot of people who say, you know, of all the Cristal concentrations, to release a flanker called Cristalle Eau Verte, it's almost like saying, well, you could have just called it another perfume altogether. It doesn't really feel like Cristal, although I sense the DNA of Cristal in here, amped up with the citrusy notes, but it could have been a different perfume altogether, right? It could have been something that maybe belongs to the Chance family, but also it could have been something, again, light years before its time. It could have been something that belongs to the Les Eaux range. In fact, I have a sneaky suspicion another one of the reasons why they're discontinuing Cristalle Eau Verte is because of the Les Eaux range that Olivier Polge initiated. Because you know, the Les Eaux range was supposed to be born as a kind of a series of cologne fragrances, which Chanel then renamed Eau de Toilette concentrations. I guess they wanted more money. I don't know, just alleging here. But they were supposed to be originally, so I've been told, colognes. And then they decided to call them Eau de Toilettes. But anyway, Les Eaux de Chanel are citrusy fragrances. They usually have some sort of bergamot, citrus, or neroli, or orange blossom in the opening notes. You know, they're refreshing light fragrances, right? And this one would fall right into that realm. So this one kind of clashes with the Les Eaux range because it feels like a Les Eaux fragrance, but it's not a Les Eaux fragrance. So that could also be the reason why they're taking it away. I also believe that if they were ever to bring this one back, they would bring it back in the Les Eaux collection. But the Les Eaux range is always called Paris something, you know. Paris Venice, Paris Biarritz, Paris Deauville, Paris Riviera, Paris Edinburgh, Paris Paris, or Paris Paris. So how would they call this one? Paris Cristal? It's a bit of a stretch because they're connecting cities with the Les Eaux range, the whole concept and storytelling. And we know how Chanel's marketing is so big on storytelling. I mean, yeah, guys, and if they didn't have a story, they would invent one. But it's all about the storytelling. So how do you tell a story of Chanel, of Paris Cristal? It doesn't fit it within the concept. So this could be another reason why they're discontinuing it. Well, let's spray it on and let's see how we'll go. So it is a Cristal. The original Cristal is a Chypre fragrance. It is the original Cristal Eau de Toilette was developed by Henri Robert, Chanel's last perfumer. By last, I mean the last perfumer designing perfumes for Chanel while she was alive. Henri Robert created also Chanel number 19 and Pour Monsieur, masterpiece. Both of them. Well, actually, all three of them. Cristalle as well. Cristalle was launched after Coco's death, but I believe that Coco smelled it before she died. And it is a bitter fragrance. It represents Coco to a T towards the end of her life. And I go in depth about that fragrance in another video of mine, which reviews Cristalle in itself. Now, Jacques Polge, the father of Olivier Polge, the current perfumer for Chanel, Olivier Polge, his father, Jacques Polge, created this flanker to the Cristalle series. Jacques Polge created Cristalle Eau Verte. It was only released in an Eau de Toilette concentration. However, it is an Eau de Toilette concentré. It is like a slightly more concentrated version of an Eau de Toilette, which Chanel only ever really did with Pour Monsieur. They used to have a Pour Monsieur Eau de Toilette concentré, which they now renamed Eau de Parfum, tweaked the formula maybe a little bit. And then there was Egoist, Eau de Toilette Concentré as well, maybe Platinum as well, and then Eau Verte, Cristalle Eau Verte Concentré. So released in 2009, pardon me, I said 2008 before, 2009 here it says. Released in April of 2009 as the successor of Cristalle from 1974. Now, what is so fascinating about this perfume is that we have the Amalfi lemon and the bergamot in the opening, but in the mid notes we go into neroli and magnolia. Magnolia is not to everyone's liking, and magnolia can have kind of a bit of a soapy, like shampoo type of vibe, like it could go in a direction of a cheap hair product. And then we have jasmine, iris, and musks in the dry down. So this perfume is very fascinating because it does open up very lemony, bergamoty, citrusy, and you do sense the neroli through here already in the opening. But once it hits the magnolia, the iris, and the jasmine, and the musks, it turns into something very sophisticated. Something that you do not smell usually in citrusy fragrances. And I'm sniffing the last ever, batch, or one of the last batches ever made of Cristalle Eau Verte. Now, I have been talking about the discontinuation of Cristalle Eau Verte since a while now, and I've made videos about it. And a lot of you have been saying that you've been stocking up on it since I made these videos. So maybe Chanel is going to see their sales go up for this perfume. And if the sales numbers go really up, they might think, oh, wait a minute. The sales are going really well. Okay, so let's not discontinue it. They could change their mind. You never know. But for now, it's being discontinued. So there is no other citrusy fragrance on the market that kind of flips on your skin. Mind you, the current formula is a little bit weaker than the first one that I bought back in 2000. Well, I thought 8, but now it says 2009. Slightly weaker, but not in the dry down. Just like its inception, the first time it was released back in 2009, already back then, it was a very skin scent. It stays close to the skin. It doesn't project much, but it emanates a certain type of freshness and sophisticated freshness that is typical not just to citrusy fragrances, but is typical to certain types of chypre fragrances. And this one does come from a big chypre fragrance, which is Cristalle. So it is kind of a flanker of Cristalle, and it does maintain its citrusy chypre origin, but because it is a chypre, it also has a certain dryness to it. And you got your aldehydes like you have in every Chanel fragrance, which sizzle and sparkle, and only Chanel knows how to do that. No other brand knows how to deliver aldehydes like Chanel can. Chanel delivers diamonds in their top aldehydic notes, always. The sparkling of champagne, bubbles in Chanel No. 5, or the sparkling diamonds in all of their chypre fragrances. As this little creature starts drying down, the magnolia comes through, the iris, the jasmine comes through, but very shyly, but masterfully blended. And they stay so close to the skin, you start hunting them down. You start kind of sniffing yourself, trying to find all of those masterfully blended ingredients underneath this citrusy coat. And let me tell you another thing. Now that I'm in Melbourne traveling, I took with me Chanel No. 5, the pure perfume, in spray form. I took Gabrielle Parfum, the newly launched Gabrielle Parfum. And I also took Chanel No. 5, Eau de Toilette. And I wear them a lot. And I also mix them throughout the day. And since I bought this one, and I got this one in Melbourne, so this is going to be a wonderful memory for me. This is the perfume I bought in Melbourne, Australia. So since I wear all the other ones throughout the day in different parts of my body, sometimes I kind of layer them. Spraying this one on top really works very well with all of the other three that I mentioned. It kind of enhances them in a very, very good way. It gives them support. It's a team player. This is what I wanted to come to. Cristalle Eau Verte is a true team player. It's a team player when it comes to layering it with other Chanel fragrances, but it's also a team player when it comes to your own well-being. Because when you wear, and this is what I forgot about Chanel, about Cristalle Eau Verte, and that what I was reminded of as I now resprayed it after I repurchased it. What a wonderful team player this is in terms of wearability for yourself. Like, for example, it begins fresh and then it turns warmer, floral, sophisticated, but it doesn't forget the fact that you have to go about your ways throughout the day, running your errands, and you might, sweat a little. It covers up odors in a very interesting way. It does not. It's a team player. It allows you to breathe, but it does not. Certain perfumes, if you sweat a little too much and you might, smell a little bit of your own sweat, certain perfumes tend to enhance that smell. And you might be the type of person that likes that. But if you're not the type of person who likes that, this is a team player. It masterfully covers up sweat. I'm not saying you should use this as a deodorant. Do not spray this under your armpits. It has a lot of alcohol in it. What I'm saying is it creates this kind of aura around you that creates a feeling, a smell of dryness. And it's something that really Chanel perfumes deliver masterfully. The citrusy notes create this green, chypre greenness around you. And it's a delicate green hue, embellished with this delicate iris. And let me tell you, hold on. There are hints of not La Pausa. There are hints of 28 La Pausa before it was reformulated, because it was called 28 La Pausa, Les Exclusives, 28 La Pausa Eau de Toilette, was then reconcentrated in Eau de Parfum form, but the name changed as well. The 28, they took it off and they just called it La Pausa. I love both concentrations to bits. It's a similar iris. Maybe it's the exact same iris as they used in 28 La Pausa. So there's like hints of, as it starts drying down and that beautiful iris, it's that iris that you smell in 28 La Pausa. You smell it less in La Pausa because La Pausa is a little bit more harsh with the orris root as opposed to the iris. It's a little bit more austere. I love both to bits. Both of them to bits. But I'm noticing more and more it has that flavor of La Pausa in it. Jizzy says it's similar to Bel Respiro too. Bel Respiro is a little bit more fully blended. Bel Respiro is less dry. La Pausa is very dry, and this one goes very dry as well. The musks, and this is why Jacques Polge was such a master, because it's easy to overdo musks and to go into that musky territory with them. And it's a certain type of warmth and heat that you smell through musks. But Jacques never went overboard with the musks in here. And the musk is there just the right amount to not allow this fragrance from becoming too citrusy, acidy, dry, The musk warms it up just the right amount to keep you guessing. Boy, what a wonderful perfume. What a wonderful perfume. And of course, there are so many beautiful perfumes that Chanel has to offer. This one does get, covered up by others that are more strong, more powerful, other perfumes that scream more, that have something to say immediately, like Coromandel from the Les Exclusives range, or now even Le Lion de Chanel. They have something to say immediately, and they kind of are the culprits that ultimately Sycamore as well are. Those are the reasons why a lot of people don't discover perfumes like number 18 by Chanel, or Misia, or La Pausa, or Bel Respiro. Those fragrances kind of disappear because all you see, you're blinded by the lights, and the lights are these heavy hitters, being Coromandel, Cuir de Russie, Bois des Îles, number 22, Le Lion de Chanel, and in these other fragrances, kind of, they don't have that screaming character, but that doesn't mean they're not as good. They're just more subtle. And this is one of them. This is that subtle, unfortunate sister or brother that was, already given a very difficult task. Why am I saying this? Because Cristalle, by 2009, when this one came out, Cristalle Eau de Toilette and Cristalle Eau de Parfum were already not bestsellers at Chanel. In fact, if you look at the Chanel website, Cristalle is always listed at the bottom of their female fragrances. Cristalle is always like the unfortunate sister. Now imagine Cristalle already being the unfortunate sister, and then within that context, Jacques Polge decided to release a flanker of Cristalle. It was doomed. I mean, it's like saying, well, let's try to revive Cristalle by releasing a flanker, but Cristalle is already not a bestseller. So of course this one had it really hard. It was really hard for this perfume to battle its way through to the forefront. It's been given a very, very difficult task, so we got to cut it some slack. It is a beauty, though. It is a beauty, and I am so, so, so sad that I've been given the news by my Chanel Beauty Boutique sales associate that this one is discontinued. They have not received bottles in months, and also they cannot reorder it. It's not on their order portal anymore. Cristalle Eau de Toilette is being discontinued in certain countries. It allegedly will still be in production in France and sold in France and other European countries, but Eau de Toilette seems to be going out of distribution worldwide. In some countries, yes, in some, no. But also in very limited amounts. So for example, I've heard from my subscribers as well that there was a batch, and actually I missed it, because by the time I checked, it was already sold out again. That in the States, it came back in stock on the Chanel website, but like for just a couple of days, and then it was gone again, and now it's gone again. So really, really difficult times. And I know that the luxury industry is trying to make it sound like everything is dandy, but we are going through, this weird pandemic and post-pandemic times, and economical situation is dire. Raw materials are missing. Production is slowing down. Lack of people working. So I'm sure the luxury industry is going through more trouble and problems than they are willing to admit that they're going through. Ways that they counter these issues is discontinuing products that are not bringing them 100% profits like they're expecting to get. So it kind of makes sense that this one was on the chopping block. Like if they had to discontinue anything, it was probably going to be this one. And then maybe number 19, Poudre. And they've discontinued Coco Noir hair mist, the hair mist. They've also discontinued Coco Noir, the pure perfume. Like they're, the bath range, they're planning on taking away the entire bath range for Coco Noir. The Eau de Parfum of Coco Noir is supposed to still remain in production for now, allegedly. They've taken away the entire bath and body range of Chanel number 19. So all we have left for Chanel number 19 is Eau de Toilette and Eau de Parfum and the pure perfume, but only in some countries. Um, Pour Monsieur is getting more and more limited distribution. The Eau de Toilette. Egoiste. Eau de Toilette is gone in many countries. Still available in Europe, though. So they're struggling. They're struggling. Not just Chanel, other luxury brands as well. So, oh, what a beauty. What a beauty. I'm sad that I didn't give this one more time, when it was in its prime time. But you know what they say, you always miss the most something that you love once it's gone, right? Isn't that just typical curse of human nature? We miss the most what we lose. And now that this is kind of disappearing, now we're kind of falling really, really heavily in love with it. Eau Verte is on the US Chanel site at the moment. Oh, that's amazing. It was gone last week. That's really good news. Get it. If you love the perfume, get it. I love this fragrance so much. Oh yeah, and it's a beauty. Yes, it is again a reminder to get the discontinued fragrances. Definitely. I mean, if you love obviously, if you don't love this one, you don't get it. You don't need to get it. Me being a collector of Chanel fragrances and just loving their history, when I hear that a perfume is being discontinued, I want to have the last ones made. I want to have them archived and just to remember them. But also, when Jean Patou's fragrance, when the entire range of Jean Patou fragrances was discontinued by LVMH, and in particular Joy, um, I started, trying to find the last batches produced just to preserve the memory of the last iteration of that fragrance. And boy, do I love Joy! What a wonderful perfume! Such a sadness for the fact that it's gone forever. It makes me so sad that Joy is discontinued. As it's going to make me so sad to know that Eau Verte is also soon going to be no more. This delicate fragrance is maybe the most shy of all Chanel perfumes. Um, but even though it's shy, it's quite determined in what it has to say. Because as you're wearing it throughout the day, it does keep giving wafts of itself. Sure, it does not last you 10 hours. This perfume was not designed to last 10 hours. It just wasn't. You might say it's too expensive for something that doesn't have huge longevity. Well, the ingredients are top notch. So, yes, it's way overpriced for what it is, but try finding bergamots and Sicilian lemons and irises and jasmines as good as these. I Magnolia, Neroli, this is good stuff. Chanel really, I mean, they might be kind of lacking in the leather department at the moment. Their leather goods at the moment are not the best. Clothing, there's some issues with the tailoring. But with their perfumes, like they deliver. So for light fragrances, citrusy fragrances, magnolia citrusy fragrances, in the Chypre family, which is very rare to find, this is top notch. And it's meant to be delicate. It's meant to be sophisticatedly delicate and refreshing. So it's not supposed to last you 10 hours. And if you're fine with that, then you're going to enjoy this immensely. You're going to enjoy this immensely. If on the other hand you're buying a perfume because you want it to last you a whole day or 2 days, well then this might not be the perfume for you, because this is not Coromandel. This is not Le Lion de Chanel. This is not a slap in your face. Hmm. So sad that it's leaving us. It takes you on short journeys. You know, it takes you on these little trips where it tells you, don't you worry, perk yourself up, battle through the day, and you're gonna make it. You know, this one gets you through the day. This might not be a winner in terms of like when you wear Chanel number 5, you feel like you can conquer the world. This one, baby steps, but in a good way. You know, this one doesn't tell you you can conquer the world, but it definitely tells you, I'm going to help you make it through the day. That's why I'm telling you. At the beginning of the review, I also said it's a team player. This is a team player type of fragrance. It's a good friend. It's a buddy. You know, it's a good buddy to have around because it's going to help you get through the day. That's worth it to me. You know, that's worth the dream to me, for sure. So it's kind of sad when you lose your buddy that helps you get through the day, you know? And that's why I say, Chanel, maybe it's not too late to reconsider. Dacob, the difference in prices per country is beyond annoying. That game is not fair. I mean, it's not fair. What can I tell you? It's definitely not fair. I had to pay a surcharge for this one because Australia has like these crazy import taxes. So this thing cost me more here in Melbourne. But I still paid the price. What can I tell you? The prices are insane. Even if you go to buy it in France where you get the best price, it's still overpriced. And then when you buy it in other countries where they have to pay all those import taxes, then they add on top of that, you know, they want to make a profit still. It's annoying, but that's the price to pay for imports. You know, you got to kind of, for that, you got to fight with your governments and your own, you know, you got to be careful who you vote for because the people you vote for are the ones that are going to make the laws or they're going to pass the laws at a certain point. And if you don't vote for the right people, you might just end up losing not just your money, but also your freedom. So be very, very careful who you vote for. And whatever you do, vote. It's not just your right, it's also your responsibility because there's more than just prices at stake. There's also freedom at stake. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this review of this dying beauty. Until next time, never forget to never give up on love and subscribe.